For the best part of 20 years, the best golf clubs in golf in the wedge category have been these. The Titleist Vokey wedges. As you can see, I have the SM10s in the raw finish and I absolutely love them. These things are so easy to use, they are so versatile, they do everything you want a club like this to do. But we are now in 2025 and we have some rather interesting alternatives. These are a full forge wedge. Now a lot of people do think that when you think Vokey, oh, they feel really soft, so they must be a forged wedge. Vokey aren't forged, Vokey are cast wedges, whereas you can see here these alternatives from the guys at Vice, not only are they cheaper, but they're also a forged finish. So today we're going to put them to the test against the Vokeys and see just exactly which wedges you should be spending your money on in 2025. Guys, do me a favour, get in the comments below which wedges would you be spending your money on. You can see I even got green ferrules on mine as well. I got them nicely kind of customised, which you can do on the Vice website. These are just over £100, like £104, I think, something like that. And you can see we also have, like on the lob wedge, a really, really, really nice full face groove. So Vokey RRP is £169. I think you can get them a little bit cheaper than that now. I'll scour the internet for you guys to see where you can get the best deals. But funnily enough, these wedges were fitted to me by a genius. So Marco, who is one of the lead designers behind the Vice golf clubs, and these wedges were fitted to me behind an ultimate genius, Bob Vokey. Bob Vokey fitted my Vokeys for me in the SM8 range, and I've just kind of continued the trend on with the shafts and the specs and everything like that. I've changed one thing, which we'll get to in this video, but like, can you get a better wedge fitting than Bob Vokey?
No.
So Bob's here. Bob's on comms as well, aren't you, Bob?
For now.
If he says anything, his views are his own and not mine. That's all I'm going to say. Right, I've got 100 yards in here. Let's clip a couple and see what kind of reaction we get. We're in the moist rough, which I think is a really good place to test clubs like this. Oh, I've struck that really nice. Soft. That felt absolutely fantastic, and that spun back quite nicely. Not gonna lie, Bob, I don't think I need to hit another Vokey because that felt phenomenal. One of the things I do like about the Vokeys is you can get them in this raw finish, and I feel like, is that like a tradition thing? Because when I had Vokeys growing up, they were my dad's cast-offs, to be honest, and then I had my brother's cast-offs, and then I eventually got my own. And now I feel like these are the clubs that just do the business. Right, we'll go gap wedge in the Vokey. So again, nice full face groove. It's not got that lovely raw finish on, but does look really nice. And with that forged finish, look at that. Again, a nice soft feel. That's all over the flag. And that one's got plenty of spin generated on there as well. One of the things I do like about the Vice wedges in particular is you have the ability to flight them up and flight them down. They've certainly thought about the CG locations in here, which is exactly the same as what the guys at Vokey and Titleist have done. Can we flight one down with this one? Fly it down with a least lofted club. And you can see we can play the shot we want to play there as well. So let's get down there and see what kind of reception we've got with these. But also let's test these Vice wedges and Vokey wedges around the greens and see just potentially what you could be missing out on if you're not gaming either of them. So you can see some pretty good shots into this hole. The final shot we hit, which was lower, landed shorter and has kind of progressed out, which you would expect a lower shot to do. The shots where we sent them nice and high with the gap wedge there, you can see they've both landed just long and both pretty much stopped dead. So quite happy with both of those results there. That's going to be within tour average, even with the slightly more budget orientated Vice. I'm not going to say cheap because they're not cheap, but they are cheaper than those. Speaking of the 56ers, should we do some digging, Bo? Digging's the wrong word, isn't it? Yeah. So when it comes to the 56s, you can see two very, very similar looking clubs here. The Vice has got a slightly kind of chamfered bounce here, whereas the 56 and the Vokey has just got that kind of 10-degree bounce grind. There are so many options when it comes to bounce and grind in the Vokey, so that's kind of well worth thinking about. Sometimes there could be too many options, and that's where, unless you know exactly what kind of style of play you have and what kind of golf course you're going to play, it might get a little bit confusing for you. But we'll go.
I would have no idea what to buy.
You wouldn't, would you? You'd have no clue. You just got my old ones.
Yeah.
So there's that. Can you hold us that, Bob? And I'll, in fact, no, because you've got the camera in your hands, and that's insensitive of me, isn't it? So we'll go Vice first. And one of the things This is a typical shot where I'd play a 56-degree wedge. So I like to kind of pop it up, get a bit of landing angle, not rely too much on spin. But I will say, just bring this in, Bob, and look at the, because I was never a fan of full face grooves, but I feel like the guys here somehow have done it really, really, really well. Because Vokey don't even make a full face groove wedge, do they?
No.
Which I think they'll have to do eventually. But who made the first full face groove wedge?
Was it Cleveland?
I want to say it was Callaway because of the Phil Mickelson wedge, or maybe Ping. It was Ping because he used it, wasn't it? Right, so face slightly open, just kind of release that out. I've thinned that a little bit, but it's still done okay. Can we just get a nice popper? See, they are launching fairly low, those, aren't they? And I don't feel like I'm really having the ability to pop it up too well with the vise. Now we look at Vokey, and yes, if you wanted to pop it up high, you'd just go to the 60, which is what we'll do in a bit. But certainly I feel like I'm maybe learning a bit about this chip and managing to pop them up. It's funny, you know, because actually when you think about...
Is it the bounce that's working more?
The bounce could be working well here, but I actually duffed that last Vokey one.
Oh.
So is the bounce kind of helping me a bit more with the vise? And funny enough, the vise feels really, really, really soft. Really interesting that with the 56, you do still have the element of versatility. So I've got the Vokey here, and with the slightly longer shot, you can see how you can play that really nice mid trajectory with a bit of spin even from the moist rough. Will not, is that classed as a shot? I've only tried to clean the club face, I hit the wrong ball. Right, and Vokey does offer you like that element of consistency. Can you see again there? Slightly lower flight, but again, plenty of spin on that ball to allow me to do what I want to do. So really happy, in fact, much happier with these shots. That's an Alex Etcher special, that one.
It was.
In a Vokey wedge review. But we now move on to the vise. And the vise, it does sit a little bit more upright. So I can open this face up and be nice and attacking with it.
Oh, yeah.
And again, you can see how it's pretty easy really to get that nice launching mid-flight. I think I'd have these a bit flatter actually, but certainly feel like I'm getting a bit more confidence with those full face grooves. Really happy with all of them apart from the thin one with the Vokey, and even here opening the face up a bit more, feel like I can really just play some nice controlled shots with both of these wedges. So when it comes to the lower end of the bag, and my favourite clubs, the lob wedges, you can see quite a difference here in visuals in how they look. Obviously mine's a wedge work 60 degree, it's a K grind with that low bounce element. So one of the things that I love about this, and this is, you can see with some of the strikes, I should clean that, shouldn't I, really? But this is one of my favourite clubs, not only of the year, but ever, because having the ability to
is it low bounce?
Low bounce, but a huge sole, yeah. So what that means is like you can really play lots of different shots. And actually you can see Brett Cooper just there on the putting green with treble winner, Jai. But whenever this club comes out, Brett knows he's in trouble when we're having a match, because I do just feel like I can play lots and lots of different shots with this. I can play it high, I can bump it low, and I really feel as though it just gives me the confidence to play. See the spin on that?
Yeah. Play
whatever shot I want to play. Now that's all good and well. That would be a little bit more because it's a Wedgeworks club. But as we go into the 60 degree of the vise, it does feel like it sits a bit more upright, but the full face grooves feel really good. And I still feel like I can play that nice low bump and run. You can see it didn't spin as much. It kind of released out a bit, but I feel like if you know what you're doing with this, you can start to play lots and lots of different kind of grabby shots, lots and lots of nice different shots. And as we jump into the bunker especially, this is where you can start to save yourself loads of shots, because I'm well aware that a lot of golfers struggle out of bunkers, and you want to make sure that you've got a club you feel comfortable with. So vice first, we'll move them out of the way. no collateral damage, you can see how I can play a really nice kind of spin. I mean, that you're not going to play a better bunker shot than that, are you?
No.
I do feel like with it sitting slightly more upright, I have to open it more. But as long as you know that and you're aware of that, it really doesn't particularly bother me too much. The loft is still pointing at the target, and you can see we can play some absolute beauties. Oh, how's that not gone in? How's that not gone in? But
I don't know.
I can get you the Vokey out now and I can try and replicate those shots, and hopefully we can play another nice one. But realistically, we've shown just how good a value those vice wedges are, haven't we? So Vokey, that one was set up a little bit, so we'll forgive ourselves slightly. But when it comes to it, guys, get in the comments below, what wedges are you using? What would you spend your money on? I'm a huge fan of these Vokeys, but also a huge fan of the money you could potentially save. If you're buying all three of these, you're saving yourself the best part of 130, 140 pounds. So maybe you can put that money towards your membership, towards lessons, towards golf balls. If you're Brett and you're absolutely terrible and lose loads. Apart from that, guys, we'll see you at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye. So I tested both these wedges in the studio with the 56 degree, trying to hit 100-yard shots to see what the difference in spin would be. Please ignore the lack of a screen because the projector broke and this is what we got. But we did manage to get the numbers. As you can see, the ball speed really doesn't matter because that's obviously my ability to gauge the distance. But they were very, very consistent. I managed to get around the 100-yard mark. And as you can see, even though it had less ball speed, the Vokey generated a slight bit more spin at 200 revs per minute more, resulting in a slightly close to that 100-yard mark that we had targeted. Two fantastic wedges.